said, "Where are you? Where are you?" He knew where Adam and Eve were. But God has a habit of inviting us to himself. He beckons her. He lets her come. And he does the same with us. He beckons us. He's so good like that. He turned around and asked, "Who touched my clothes?" "You see the people crowding against you," his disciples answered, "and yet you ask, 'Who touched me?'" But Jesus kept on looking around to see who had done it. Then the woman, knowing what had happened to her, came and fell at his feet, and trembling with fear, she told him the whole truth. All right. Raise your hand if you've ever gone a week without really like a good talk. Like a good talk with somebody. Like a week without a good talk with a friend. Have you ever gone a week without talking to a friend? And then let's say it's time for a lunch date or a coffee date with a girlfriend, and you're just like, "Oh, I have so much to tell you." And the 2 hours pass, and you're like, "Oh man, where'd the time go?" Okay, this woman needed a friend for 12 years. 12 years. Because of the culture of cleanliness laws, it's not a far-fetched to think that she hadn't had a human touch or any affection, like physical touches of affection for 12 years. Jesus turns around, she falls at his feet, and Mark tells us she told him the whole truth. Now, maybe the whole truth was, "I touched you, Jesus." But this might be the first time in 12 years that she had a chance to really sit with somebody who was ready to listen to her story. I don't think it's a far-fetched to think that she talked for a long time and told him the whole truth about her sickness and about the doctors and about getting worse and about how sad she was that she didn't get to cook meals for her family anymore and how maybe she'd been married but her marriage ended because of her uncleanness. And her whole truth. Maybe she sat there and told him the whole thing. And it took a while, I think, because in the meantime, Jairus' daughter dies, and the messengers come and tell him, "You don't have to come, Jesus, Jairus' daughter already died." So I don't know about how much time passes here, but I don't think it's a far stretch to think that Jesus listened to this woman's whole truth. Her story. Like, tell your story. Because he wanted to heal her soul, too. He didn't just want to heal the bleeding. He wanted to heal her wholeness. And that might have taken a little bit of time so that she could get everything off her chest she needed to get off her chest. Anyway, however long it took, we don't know. But in verse 34, he says to her, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering." He says to her, "Daughter." This is the only time that Jesus calls anybody daughter. It's the only recorded time that Jesus calls anybody daughter. And isn't it awesome that he does it at a time when the whole crowd is probably saying, "Hurry up! Jairus' daughter is dying. Jairus' daughter needs you. Jairus needs you to go heal his daughter." Because this 12-year-old daughter, everybody knew that she had huge, tremendous value. "Hurry up, Jesus, go heal the daughter." And so here's this woman that was probably very unvalued in the culture. And Jesus says, "Daughter, you're healed. Be free from your suffering." And I love that too because she's already healed, right? Physically. And he said, "Be free from your suffering." That we know that when Jesus said that, he wasn't actually talking about the bleeding because the bleeding's done. It already ended. And he says, "Be free from your suffering." That's like the whole suffering, the emotional suffering. Go and be free from it because you're my daughter. You are as valuable as Jairus' daughter. You're every bit as important as Jairus' daughter. When he called her daughter, he was telling her, but I think also everybody around, that she is not her own and that she is not alone. She belongs to me. She's my daughter. Jairus, I'm going to get to your daughter because I love her too. But I love this daughter too. She's my daughter. And she is every bit as valuable as every other daughter. When we know our identity as a daughter of God who is fully loved, we can rest from constantly trying to do and be more. You don't have to try to do and be more all the time. We can just rest knowing that I am God's daughter. It's not like, okay, if I do all this stuff well enough, then I'll be God's daughter. Or if I become the perfect mom and stop yelling at my kids, then I'll be God's daughter. I'm a very imperfect mom, and I'm God's daughter. I don't have to be more to become God's daughter. This this spring, I was on a walk with my daughter, my 10-year-old daughter. My boys are 6 and 8, my daughters are 10 and 12. My 10-year-old has had a really hard year because her big sister went to middle school. And it's not that she misses her big sister, she doesn't. But, they're best friends, but they're together all the time at home. So that's not her struggle. Her struggle is with big sister going to middle school is exciting. Middle school's exciting. Going to a new building's exciting. Everything that came with middle school was exciting. She got a new bedspread, and that's really exciting. We made her room the guest room, which means there's a queen-size bed in it, and that's exciting. And everything that the big sister gets is exciting. And the 10-year-old is like, everything is just very hard to be the younger sister. And she has some friends who also appear to be good at everything. So she's got this big sister who seems to get everything. And she has friends who seem to be good at everything. And that is it's just hard. She's just had a hard time in her 4th grade year. So we were on a walk a couple weeks ago, and she was just lamenting about this girl can do this and this girl can do this, and she finished her math test before me, and she ran faster than me in the mile run, and I thought I was going to win the mile run, and then she was faster, and she's better at math, and she's better, and then Abby, that's her big sister, gets this and gets this and gets this, and it's just so overwhelming to be second place all the time. And I get that, because I'm the younger sister too. So I get it. And as we're walking, finally she's just lamenting. And I finally had to say, Lily, stop. Repeat after me. As I'm telling her to repeat after me, I was like, holy cow, I need this lesson. This is totally God talking to me as I'm trying to talk to my 10-year-old. And then I realized you need this lesson too, okay? So we're walking along, and I was like, you need to repeat after me. And this is what she had to repeat after me. The first sentence was, nothing you do will ever make you more valuable than you are right now. Okay, so you have to repeat after me. Nothing you do will ever make you more valuable than you are right now. Yeah. You can't add any value to yourself. It's impossible. Nothing you do is going to make you more valuable. Nothing could have made the hemorrhaging woman more valuable than she already was to Jesus. She didn't become more valuable to Jesus when he healed her. Other people might have seen her as more valuable then, because we're human and we're short-sighted. But Jesus, healing her didn't actually make her more valuable to him. He already knew she was as valuable as possible because he's her daughter. That's what makes you valuable. And then the next part of the sentence was, and Lily, repeat after me, nothing you do will ever make you less valuable than you are right now. So if you get second place in the mile run, you are not less valuable. If you get the whole math test wrong, you are not less valuable. If you get one problem wrong and you have 99% on your math test, you might be like, oh man, my sister got a 4.0 and I didn't. You are not less valuable. Nothing you do is ever going to make you less valuable. Nothing. It would be impossible for you to do anything that would make you less valuable. So we're talking about this on our walk, and she's just like, oh, that really helped me, Mom. And I'm thinking, yeah, no kidding. It was all God, honey. He was just telling me stuff. And then I just was like, that is a lesson for all of us. I don't think we ever get too old for that. To remember nothing you do will add value to you. It's impossible. And nothing you do will ever subtract value. value from you. It's impossible. Nothing ever will do that. Why don't you turn to a friend right now and tell her nothing you do will make you more or less valuable. Go ahead. This one's going to take a little bit of writing. You can write down whichever adverbs or adjectives, they're adjectives, as you want. You don't have to write them down or you don't have to write any. But I started to think about how, as a daughter, you don't need to earn any love. This woman didn't need to earn Jesus' love. She was all out of money. She couldn't pay him a dime. She didn't have to earn it. He just gave it. Because that's what Jesus does. As God's daughter, you are already fully loved. You are chosen. You are claimed. You are cared for. You're provided for. You're protected. You are sought after. You are adored. You are cherished. You are sung over. There's a beautiful verse in Zechariah that says that God sings over us. You are held. You are esteemed. I love that word. When you look, if you have a daughter or a son, when you look at them, don't you think they're the best thing in the whole world? I mean, even when they're tantruming in their bedroom door and you have to turn the breaker off to get them to go to sleep, you still think they are the best. I remember when my daughter was a year and a half old, my first daughter was a year and a half old, I remember talking to my friends and thinking in my head, oh, I'm so lucky and I feel so bad for them. They don't get to be her mom. Because she's the best. She's the best. Everybody else should get to be her mom, except I don't want them to be. I want to be. I want to be her mom. You esteem your children. You think they are the best. And that's how Jesus is. You are noticed. Nobody noticed this woman. She was in a crowd of like 10,000 people maybe. No one noticed her, but Jesus did. Jesus noticed her. You are appreciated and nurtured and enjoyed. Don't you enjoy your kids? I love that my kids are getting older. Like, I took my girls out to Target a couple nights ago, just like back in the day when me and my girlfriends used to go to Target at like 10 p.m. and we used to just laugh our heads off like in college at Target. Well, now my girls are almost 11 and 13, and we were at Target laughing our faces off. And I was thinking in my head, I was like, you guys are as much fun as my college girlfriends were. That's awesome! Like, we can go to Target and be funny and dumb together. And I enjoy them, you know? Like, they give me so much joy to hang out with. And that's what a child does. And that's how you are to God. You are enjoyed. As we close our session together, as I thought about these disciples and just like their desire for rest, but they couldn't totally rest because they didn't have a full grasp on who Jesus was and who they were in relationship to Jesus. They couldn't rest fully. They wrestled with that. And this woman who could rest, like Jesus sends her out in peace. When he says, daughter, your faith has healed you, go in peace and be freed from your suffering. He told her to go in peace because he had given her peace. She couldn't have gone in peace if he hadn't given her peace, right? But he knew she can go in peace today because I gave her peace. He sends her out in peace because she knows, wow, I'm his daughter? I'm his daughter? I'm as important as Jairus' daughter? That's amazing. And what kept coming back to my mind as I thought about what the disciples wanted and what this woman received, what kept coming back to mind were the beautiful, beautiful words that King David penned so long ago. They're very familiar to you, but I would love you to just listen to these words of peace and rest. And how David, as the shepherd in this day, when he wrote this down, he rested from expectation, from all the stuff stuff that maybe he thought he was expected to do, from all the stuff that he maybe had failed to do. He was just able to rest because he knew of the one true shepherd. And he said this, "The Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He restores my soul. He guides me along the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table for me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." I pray tonight that God would give you rest from expectation, that he would meet every expectation you have, and that you would be able to stop expecting so much from yourself and so much from other humans, because it will result in disappointment. But when we put all our expectations in Jesus, he meets them all. He meets all expectations. He exceeds all expectations. You prepare a table for me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil and my cup overflows. He meets every expectation. So I pray for you tonight that you can put all your expectations on Jesus and that he can meet everyone, because you're his daughter and he loves you. Let me pray over you, and then I'll ask Amy to come back up. Dear Jesus, thank you that you meet every expectation, and that when we are so disappointed and unable to rest from the world around us, that you give us rest and you meet every single need and you call us your daughter. And when we know that we're your daughter, we can truly have peace in our souls. Thank you, Jesus. I pray this in your name. Amen.